Good morning. Happy Monday. How is everybody? I hope you had a great weekend. For those of you that see me later, welcome everyone. My name is Cindy. I'm at Simply Cindy. I am doing astrology and horoscopes for the next month. I think we're down a week, so 3 weeks. And we're going to see how this goes, if there's enough people watching, if there's enough people commenting and everybody's liking this, then we'll do it again. For those of you that don't know me and have never been to my channel before or seen me, I'm a medium, uh, and I had another channel, came to this channel, went away. Then we had the pandemic, and I've come back this year to do full time again. I have a lot of modalities, but I've challenged myself for the next 30 days, and we're down 5 days to do lives and do horoscopes and tarot. And I can feel like mediumship's coming up. I was almost going to do mediumship on Friday because it was going to be a free Friday, but my channel was glitching doing the vertical YouTube, doing the shorts, the vertical live. So I've decided not to do vertical for now until YouTube fixes it. So we're just going to do it the old way because I'm having way too many problems. Way too many problems. And because of that, we couldn't even do anything on Friday. Like, I couldn't even connect with you guys, and nobody could get their charts read. Nobody could get tarot. Nobody could get mediumship. I was going to do mediumship too. I could feel it coming on Friday, but that wasn't meant to be. So I appreciate you guys looking at this later. I know it's a live, but I'll cut it down and put it in a video. I do that every day so that you guys can kind of get the main grasp and don't have to listen to everybody talk unless you like that, listen to the communication and me figuring stuff out. So give me just a second. Let me see if it's hopefully if you guys could, somebody could tap on the screen, let me know that you're not just that you're here, but that you can comment, because that's the issue I'm having is people can't comment. So hopefully this will work better. But if you could do that for me, if you're here and could just say hello, give me an emoji, do something to let me know that the chat is okay, that would help out a lot. If not, I'm just going to do, there we go, Eagle. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's perfect. Thank you, Eagle. So, I think I can see it up there. Still, I don't want to touch my microphone because sometimes I touch my microphone, it messes it up. So, let's go ahead and do. I'm sitting here thinking because I know I want to do the resetting our vagus nerve, but I also wanted to do some other stuff with lymphatic drainage. So, um, for those of you that don't know, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys. You can see right here. So I used to have. I say used to because they've tested me for several years now, and it's gone. Um, I healed that. I did that with herbs, with hypnosis, with using all kinds of modalities. I had lupus. And so, way back in the day, way back in the day, I was in the medical field. So, medicine is something I believed in. I just believed it was both medicine and herbs. I still do. I still believe that they both can help. Anyway, because of all of the medications in my way past, I have to be really careful because I'll get lymphatic. I have to do lymphatic drainages and stuff. You may not want to know this, but I'm saying that for reasons of you guys might get sinuses. I can get sinuses, and my lymph nodes, they need to be drained a lot, just because of the past chemo and stuff. This is from a long time ago. This is like 20 years ago. Chemo and stuff that I had to take. My body is healed of the lupus because it's not showing up, but I'm still recovering those tissues, right? So, anyway, the lymphatic system, I do a lot. drain the lymphatic drainage. I do a lot. So that's just to kind of let you know. I don't Let me know if you guys want something like that, and I can help you with that too. But for today, sorry I went into all that. I was telling you what was behind my thought. For today, and these practices are, and I guess I'm saying these practices because that's Saturn. That's Saturn in Pisces. That's Saturn um, trying to make you responsible for the things that you know. For so long, maybe that is why I brought this up too. For so long, yeah, I'm starting to channel. For so long, we have been knowing about this stuff. We worked a little bit on this stuff. We learned all of these modalities, but are you putting them into practice? It's time to put those things into practice, right? So, hi Melissa, how are you? So that's Saturn. Saturn's taking Pisces, the otherworldly, the no boundaries, the different dimensions, the things that we can do with our spirit and our body. And he's saying, are you implementing those things? Are you taking responsibility for yourself? Are you doing the right thing by yourself? And that's basically Saturn. What's your belief system? What do you believe about these things? And then what are you implementing and taking responsibility and being mature about with these things? We've got our society in this time. You don't have to be like a caste system, or you don't have to be a certain level to be able to attain the knowledge. The knowledge is everywhere. We're living in a time where knowledge is everywhere, right? And so back in the day, hi Kathy, back in the day, you used to have to be somebody, or know somebody, or be in the priesthood, or be in the be an oracle, or be a whatever, to be able to access this knowledge that we have here on earth, right? To be able to access the ancient knowledge. We're not in that time anymore. That time is gone. We are in a time where we have access to that knowledge. Now Saturn is telling us you have access to all of this knowledge. You know all of this stuff, or you can learn all of this stuff. What are you doing about it? Are you going to sit and complain about what they did, and about that you're afraid, and about, are you going to do that? Or are you going to take responsibility and really love yourself and know your worth, and understand that your body is just as important as your spirit? That is Pisces in Saturn. I haven't done the Pisces and Saturn video yet, but that's kind of the Pisces and Saturn. What is your belief system? I don't want to go that deep. I'm like talking, I don't want to go that deep. We have, like, they're putting everything out. My higher self was like, you got to say this. If you haven't gotten it by now, nobody is wrong and nobody is right. It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perception, and it has to do with your soul, and it has to do with you yourself have come to understand, right? So, I'll give you an example. Those that don't believe in a higher power, that don't believe in God, that don't believe in the universe, that don't believe in spirit, that are atheists, right? Or claim to be atheists. I mean, my husband was an atheist when I met him. I've never met a real atheist. They always, um, anyway, that's not the point. The point is, um, just because they don't believe, first of all, just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it's not there. That's one. Secondly, I'm not here to say that you are wrong for not believing in a higher power. Maybe it's at this time in this life, you wanted to understand through your soul a different way of being in a life. Does that make sense to you guys? So that's sort of Saturn and Pisces. That's sort of, what responsibilities are you going to take? What now that you have this knowledge, what are you implementing? What are you doing with that? Okay. And I'm saying that because we have some stuff going on this week. So again, it's all going to come around. It's all going to come around. But for now, since I got off the subject of the vagus nerve, let's let's reset the vagus nerve. Okay, so the vagus nerve, you want to reset the vagus nerve because it helps your anxiety. There's a lot of things that help your anxiety. I have really good herbs that I make that help your anxiety, and if any of y'all are interested, you can just email me. um so let's reset your vagus nerve. So you're gonna look straight, and then so what I keep forgetting to tell you guys is you want to look straight, and then you want to look to the left and see how far your neck will go. Actually, that was the right for me. And then you want to look to the opposite and see how far your neck will go. Like, don't stretch it, but just see how far it'll go. Okay. And then I want you to clasp your hands together. And then I want you to take it, relax your shoulders. A lot of us don't realize that we're not relaxing our shoulders. So relax your shoulders. Uh, put your head straight. Relax your shoulders. Your wings sort of relaxed, but stretched a little. And then I want you to look all the way to the right with your eyes, but leave your head straight until you get the yawning. Oh, excuse me. Until you get the yawning. And then you want to do it again and do the opposite side. So look, don't strain, but look as far that's comfortable to the left until you get that movement. Some of you, it's going to take some time to get that yawn. Some of you, it will take some time to get that yawn. So you can do that periodically when you're getting a little anxious, when you're kind of, I don't feel good or I don't feel right kind of deal. Do that vagus nerve. The other thing I had someone else do is, I mean, I'll have you do too. If you're having an issue and you're not getting the yawn right away, it'll get better as the days go by and you keep doing it. But that little ball that's right where your gum line and your front teeth are, if you'll put your tongue and press against that little ball that's there, that relieves anxiety as well. So, and that helps reset as well. So if you'll just put the pressure there and then do the thing that I just told you, and now you can like turn your head and you'll notice that that it kind of feels better. Okay. So now let's look a little bit today. Are you guys still able to communicate? Can you tap the screen or say hi again? I'm sorry. I just got to make sure that this glitch is just on the vertical and not on the other thing either. Okay. So today's the 18th. Let's look at the 18th. So I do want to talk a little bit about Mercury. We talked a little bit about Saturn. We've talked about Neptune. This is Saturn. This is Neptune. Thank you, Kathy. And what's important this week is that Venus is getting really close to Saturn. They're having a real personal conversation about you. So what are you gonna be? You're like, what are they gonna be talking about? Okay, so they're having a conversation. They're about to be exact in a couple of days. But the big thing here is, and if you see this, so I was just thinking, you know how, oh, hold on, I've got like 5 things I'm thinking at one time. Okay, calm down, Cindy. Mercury. Mercury's going next to, or it is next to the North Node. So there's some processing, and that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit about Mercury. I know everybody's used to say, oh, Mercury retrograde, and like even mainstream knows about Mercury retrograde, right? Or they think they know about Mercury retrograde. But they don't know about Mercury, right? Mercury is the ruler of Gemini and Virgo, right? And so my son is Gemini, so I am very agile. I am very quick. I am that lower mind, that everyday quick agility, but I have Sagittarius too. So my moon Sagittarius, my sun is Gemini, which if you kind of know about astrology, When the sun's in one and the moon's in the opposite, right? What does that usually mean? That means a full moon, right? So I was born on a full moon. So anyway, the Sagittarius has the higher mind. The Gemini has the lower everyday kind of quickness, agility, and I am very quick. My mind thinks very quickly. That's the Mercury. Um, but the thing about Mercury that I always say that a lot of people don't is it's that I think of it as that if you think of it in your body, I think of it as the tissue between the left and the right hemisphere of the brain, right? That processing part, the thing that has the neurons in it that says, oh, we're going to take this information and put it here. We're going to take this information and put it here. Does that make sense to you guys? That's the way that I think of Mercury in the body. It's like the processing, it's like helping everything come together and giving you an understanding, right? So, Mercury has to do with communication, right? That's why when it goes retrograde, we have a problem with phones and computers and cars and all kinds of stuff because all of that is communication. I know it sounds like it's technology and it is technology. So I mean, it is Aquarius technology, but it's the communication of it that we're having the problem with Mercury, right? Mercury is the communicator. Mercury is the processor. I know that he's the communicator and he so in Greek mythology he's the one that takes the messages and goes to the underworld and then back up. So he can go back and forth, right? So he can go between dimensions. That's very telling. That means he can go to me, he can receive information from like Neptune, from the inner planet of Venus, but the outer planet of Neptune and Uranus and Jupiter. Like that to me, he'll take that information and bring it and help you digest it. Does that make sense? He'll help you digest it. And so he's very important here because right now he's really close to the North Node. The North Node is our destiny right now on a global level, on a societal level, and on some personal level, right? I mean, it's really hard to explain when I go into, and I've been into these other realms and dimensions, and then when I've taken people into hypnosis, it's hard to understand that, um, like I'm trying to explain it. The North Node on transiting would tell me that on a global level, on a societal level, that we're going through this destiny, this change, this new energy, right? But because there's so many levels that we don't see because our brain is about linear and processing that way, we don't understand that maybe another lifetime you were trying to finish up or trying to get through this north node that was your part of your destiny, but it wasn't in your natal north node. It was just something that you wanted to acquire and work through since the whole of society and the whole of a life that you were going to live was here, was going to be at that time. Does that make sense? Hope I'm making sense to you guys. But I'm trying to say this for a reason. Okay, so I'll try to bring it back down to earth. The North Node, there's something here about processing, about the communication, about, and remember, communication, words are just what, I forgot the percentage of the vocabulary or language is just like, it's not even all of communication, right? I don't know why the percentage skips my brain right now, but there's a lot of different ways that we communicate is what my point is. And with Mercury being here, it's very telling because he's trying to get to, or he's getting close to the North Node to give us some information to be able to process. And it has to do with our destiny moving into this new time. Some of y'all will call it a timeline. Some of y'all call it moving through the door, through the portal, whatever. With this Chiron, the key, right? There's a wound here that we on a societal global level are going to have to deal with. And if you look right now, what is everybody talking about? They're all afraid. And I told y'all, they want you afraid. They're all afraid. Everybody's afraid. What's going on? Why do they have the military coming in? Why is, why are they saying, have water for 1 to 3 days and have food for a week and blah 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 blah, and there could be a blackout, and that's never happened with, they've never warned us with the solar eclipse that's coming, and blah 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 blah. They want you afraid because they're throwing these little things out there. Oh, y'all need to prepare. Just get some gas, make sure that you have gas, but then they don't tell you anything. um you need to get some water, make sure that you have 3 days of water or 5 days of water or whatever they're saying. But then they don't tell you anything. Oh, well, we're going to move the Coast Guard and the military over that way, but they don't say anything. They want you afraid. Okay. Now, am I saying nothing's going to happen? No, I'm not that dumb. Something could happen, but I don't think it's what you're thinking or what our minds could possibly go into of like, oh my God, we have been through worse. I told you the pandemic was a dry run. They wanted to see how we would react. They wanted to see how we were going to do it. They wanted to see how can they manipulate us? How can they keep us in fear? Who's going to rise up? Who's going to say something? What class is going to do this and that and the other? It's like they know what they're doing. They're doing it on purpose. My point is, do not be afraid, especially right now. Everybody is like, what's going on? Oh my God. Don't be afraid. I'm telling y'all, we have been preparing. We are evolved souls. It doesn't matter. We have been through worse, especially if you know me, you have been through hell and back. If you know me, you've been through hell and back. This is nothing. Now, is it going to hurt a little bit? Sure. Is it going to be a little bit uncomfortable? Sure. But you've been through worse. You've been through worse. So it doesn't matter if they turn the lights out for 3 days. So what? We're going to have a great freaking time. It doesn't matter if we don't have water for 3 days. We're going to be fine. Some of us have been, I don't want to use the word, I don't want to use that word. Some of us have been aware since we were very, very young. Let's see, how do I say this? Some of us have been aware since we've been very, very young to not rely on systems. Does that make sense? Does that make sense on systems? Okay. So some of us understand not to rely on systems. Does that make sense? Party in the pantry. That sounds cool. We're gonna have a big party in the pantry. It's gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. And if we all need to gather together to help each other out, then that's what we'll do. I've told you, we'll do what we got to do, right? So, that being said, this is the wound I'm talking about. This is everybody's so afraid, everybody's so scared. What is going to happen? Oh my God, this is a solar eclipse and blah 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 blah. It's an eclipse. It's going to change your life. I'm not saying it's not going to change your life. I'm just saying don't sit in the fear like they want you to sit in the fear. It's ridiculous. We're not doing that. We did that before. Fool me once, right? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? You're not going to do that again. I learned my lesson. You learned your lesson, right? So as long as we're aware, we're taking precautions, we're not dumb. We're not going to be like, oh no, nothing's happening. I'm gonna believe that nothing's happening, right? I'm not saying to do that. I'm saying take precautions, be aware, but don't sit in the fear. Does that make sense to everybody? Don't sit in the fear. You're bigger, you're better, and this is Aquarian energy. It's time to pull together. It's time, if you need help, if you don't happen to have something that your neighbor does, your such and such does, It's time to pull together if you need that. Is it going to turn out right away? No, because we're not used to doing that. We got 20 years. Aquarius is going to teach us how. Pluto is going to teach us how to come together the right way, the way that benefits humanity. Okay. Not the egotistical way of I'm right and you're wrong and we're going to do it this way because this is the right thing to do. No, everybody has their thing. I just explained Saturn and Pisces. Everybody has their belief system and understanding, and that's what we need to honor, right? That's what makes this world, this dimension in this world. If you're talking about other beings looking at us, that's what makes us so different. I won't say special because that's a joke. If you say special, I'm thinking special, not special as in highlighted special. They don't. I've worked with other beings, and we're not the cream of the crop. Okay, we're like the little baby. I think I've said this before. We're the little baby that just got. We're the little child that just got to go to the adult table. Okay, so but we're little. We don't know what we're doing yet. Okay, so anyway, so just understand that that's kind of what we're working on, and don't be afraid in this um, solar eclipse, in this lunar eclipse. They're not saying much about the lunar eclipse. Don't be afraid in the solar eclipse. Now, would I drive in a solar eclipse? No. Why do you want to drive in a solar eclipse? I mean, there's no reason to, right? So, like I said, take the precautions. Don't be naive. Don't be naive. Take the precautions. Do your thing. Just don't sit in the fear because it'll be fine. That's this wound. That's part of this wound. I told you we have a wound. Society has a wound that we're having to deal with to get through here. We're going to have to deal with to get through here. The important thing is that Mercury is coming to help us process, coming to help us with the communication. And the reason I know this is because today he's close, right? Mercury's close to the North Node and he's talking to Chiron and he's trying to gather the information so that he can help us to process it, right? But he's about to go into shadow, okay? When he goes into shadow, that's very telling for us because that's telling us, okay, whatever information's coming in, whatever I have learned over the last couple of, weeks, months, it could be years, like if it's sort of finally processing, but whatever's been coming to my attention, whatever I've been like focused on and trying to understand. Remember, we know we want to go through this portal, through this door, through this timeline, through this new space. We don't know exactly where that is. We just know that we want to go that way, right? And so with Mercury there, Mercury is saying, yes, it's okay to do this. Let me tell you a little bit more. So you're not going to get the answers, but you're going to get a little bit more information that kind of helps settle your heart, kind of helps settle your mind, more your mind than your heart, because Mercury is the mind, right? So, but there is a wound that we are going to have to go through to get to this. Okay, does that all that make sense to you guys? Okay, so that's starting today, and then it goes into shadow. And when it goes into shadow, because remember it's retrograding, Mercury is going to retrograde on the 1st of April. So from the 19th, I think, is when it goes into shadow, or the 21st. So the next couple of days, Mercury's going into shadow, which means from that point all the way to the 1st, pay attention. What is trying to come in? What are people trying to say to you? Remember, people mirror you. What are people trying to say to you? What situations are going on that you're trying to resolve, because we're getting through this thing, but we have this wound we have to go through. We're letting go the 25th, right? That Libra, relationships, understanding, diplomacy, being worthy of yourself. Remember, we did all of that last week. I was going through each one of the signs, all of that. Remember, we're still working on that, but as we're letting go, we're moving into this thing. But there's something over here that's saying, the universe is saying, yes, this is going to happen over here, but I want you to kind of pay attention over here too, okay? Because as you're letting this go, you're moving through this door, but there is this wound here, right? And Pluto is like definitely talking. I know yesterday the Sun and Neptune were exact. A lot of you may have felt confused, or am I even doing it right, or do I even want to do it anymore? Like I told you, there was going to be some doubt because that's Pluto. Pluto is not an easy planet to deal with, and he's continuing to talk here. So the best way to do it, because this is very highlighted, this all these continue to be highlighted, right? So with Mercury, just know on the 19th, that's tomorrow. I think it's the 19th. I don't know why that's slipping my mind, but just start paying attention. Who's coming in front of you? What are they saying? What messages are you trying to get to? Um, there's some things that are coming around that feel very familiar. That's the South Node, that you could be having to focus on because you're getting ready to let that go. So people may come around that are familiar, situations may come around that are familiar. Don't get discouraged if situations come around that are really familiar that you thought you've gotten through, that are like, oh my God, why is this showing up again? Right? Don't get discouraged because it's about to like eclipse, right? It's about to eclipse. That's the lunar eclipse. It's about to eclipse that timeline. It's about to eclipse that energy, and it's about to transform. So stand your ground. Okay. So just remember, and that's why we talked about this last week, whatever, however that's going to show up in your life, whatever area, because it's different for everybody, right? But we have the Saturn and this Venus. Saturn, Daddy Saturn. He's like, you deserve a lot. Are you honoring yourself, Venus? I mean, they're having this conversation. Is he or she honoring themselves? Is he or she putting in the work? Is he or she making the right choices by them? I'm not saying the right choices as in society thinks I should make this choice, or my parents think I should make this choice, or my husband thinks I should make this choice, or my girlfriend thinks I should make this choice, or my children think I should make this choice. Are you making the choice that you're wanting to honor and validate you? To honor and validate you. Does that make sense? Like, that's what sort of the conversation that Saturn is having with Venus, because they're in Pisces. Pisces can manifest, and Saturn is like, you have the ability to manifest anything that you want. But if you can't even make a choice about whether you want it or whether society wants you to want it, then that's not going to come through. So you have to put into practice. You have to take the responsibility of doing this, not just this work, but for yourself. Are you putting in the practice? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you honoring your word? Are you honoring your feelings? Are you honoring, you know, it's about that, right? And that's the conversation. Are you honoring yourself with money, with the worthiness, with finances, with resources? Are you understanding you are better than you have allowed yourself to be? You are uh, okay when you make the mistakes, but it's at least you tried. That's Saturn. At least you took responsibility. Yeah, you may have messed it up, but you took responsibility and you're trying to change it and you're going to make a different decision. That's Saturn and Venus, right? And we have, because this is just the 18th, we have Mars is going to be moving in to Pisces. So he's also going to be talking. Let's look at the 19th. Hold on. So this is when he starts, Mercury starts going into shadow, right? And then we have, so the 19th, I think it's the 20th, 21st. Hold on. Yeah. So then the 20th, we have the sun moving out of Pisces. The confusion, yeah, that confusion should let up. I think it's confusing because when the sun goes to Neptune, or when the sun goes to anything, it shows clarity. But because Neptune is so illusionary, when it lights Neptune up, you kind of see where you've been um, not seeing the truth about yourself, not seeing the truth about people around you, not seeing the clarity about what's really going on. Okay. And that's what's been going on. And that's the confusion is like, wait a minute, I thought I had this handled. Wait a minute, I don't see what else I can do. Wait a minute, and just be okay with that. Okay. As long as you're putting into practice here, as long as you're putting these things into practice, right? But then the sun is going to go into Aries, which is going to sort of give us the oomph, the energy to start these things that we see that we should uh, change finally. We don't know how yet. We don't know where we're going yet, but we kind of know we're going that way. Okay. And as the sun gets closer, we're going to be seeing it clearly. Okay. As the sun gets closer, that's the solar eclipse. We're going to see it a little bit more clearly, right? So, but in this week, these two are going to get really, really close. So I feel like your, not your honor, your worthiness, your attractiveness, your beauty. I feel like all of that is going to be highlighted this week. I feel like your word with um with Mercury there, but I feel like it's here. It's like taking what you thought and making it solid. So making whatever choice that you've been sort of thinking of and then you finally got clarity of, but you're afraid to say it because Aries wants to do me, right? And the sun is going to go into Aries and this is all highlighted. So we're about to do me, 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 but we're having to make these choices about our relationships, the way that we listen to people, talk to people, do for ourselves, do for others. Is it in balance, right? That's the Libra thing. That's what we're trying to balance. That's that South Node that's coming. And then that's kind of what we're going to be working on all week. But then we're moving into, I think it's the 23rd. Yeah. So then the 21st is obviously when it goes into, when the sun goes into, sorry. So on the 21st, when the sun goes into Aries, that's the equinox, right? So that's the new year. That's the new cycle starting. That's the new energy we're going into, right? Like, does it start right on that day? No, but that's like the time area period kind of thing. That's kind of what we're moving into, but we're moving into releasing and finishing up here, and then we're moving into the start of this. We're moving into the start of the new stuff that's coming, right? Okay, and then I'm pretty sure it's on the 23rd. Yeah, so on the 23rd, then Mars comes in here. Remember, Mars, that's her balance. That's Venus's balance. And Mars has been in Aquarius where he doesn't even know what he's talking about sometime right now. Mars has been in Aquarius thinking too much and he doesn't really want to think too much, right? So he's been doing things outside the box, right? And he's been like pushing in ways that don't make any sense that you're like, am I wasting my time doing this stuff? Nothing's coming out right? That's like Mars has been in there having a little hassle because Venus is over here talking to Saturn. So Venus hasn't had it easy either, right? Venus has been in Pisces where she's sort of got enveloped and lost herself, but it's like she knows when she goes into Pisces she can get lost, but then when she started to try to get lost, Saturn was like, that's not what we're doing this time, right? So anyway, Mars is coming in. He's moving into Pisces, right? Mars is not going to like being in Pisces, but he's got to help Venus out, right? He's he's going to give Venus the gumption, the oomph to like do the things that she needs to do, attract the way that she needs to attract, have the money come in. If you have been doing the work, then the money will come in. If you have been doing the work, then the health will come in. If you have been doing the work, then the healing will come in. If you have been doing the work, then the position will come in. If you have been doing the work, then the career will come in. If you've been doing the work, then the vacation will come in. Does that make sense? Okay. We're moving into this area. Okay. That's what we're going to be going with. Like all week, we're going to be dealing with that stuff. I'll talk more about it later, but I just kind of wanted you to understand that there is a wound here. I'm going to do the card next, but we need to pay really close attention to Mercury, and we need to pay close attention to Saturn and Venus right now. Okay. And I know Neptune's a big energy and it wants to confuse us and it wants us to just dream and it wants us, and while that's good, we still need to like be grounded because we've got some areas, some new energy that we're having to go through. Remember, Pluto is still talking over here. He's talking to the North Node right now. Like he's going to be talking to the North Node. Where are you going? And where do you want to go? That's Pluto. You've been carrying this trauma for lifetimes. I'm trying to help you not carry that anymore. You're kind of seeing clearly. You're kind of processing and understanding. There is a wound that you have to work with, but are you going to do it? Or are you just going to dream about it? And then I have to do it. Does that make sense? Oh, Pluto. Okay. So that's all I'll say about that for today. Let's move back to the 18th. Okay. Now, I've already shuffled the cards, but I'll shuffle them again since you guys are in here now. So it looks like it seems to be working better. For those of you that'll see this later, I'm talking about the actual live because we were having an issue on Friday. Well, a couple times last week. Okay, so let's do Cancer first. Yeah, we'll do Cancer and then go forward. Okay, Cancer. What do we have? Ooh, Cancer, you have the King of Pentacles. So you have the King of Pentacles. It looks like, so I feel like you guys are working hard. I feel like there is a little bit of fear there. You know what I feel like? I feel like, not FOMO, it's like, I'm going along and I'm doing good and people are happy and I'm getting noticed, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just kind of doing what I think is right. So there's that fear of not being confident in what you're doing, but you are the King of Pentacles. I feel like this is you. I feel like you're in a place, or you may get to a place, or something's happened where you get the accolades or the money or the trip or the thing, and you're kind of don't know how it happened, but you don't realize that you've been working hard for it. And that's all it takes. It doesn't take you knowing exactly what you're doing. It just takes you working hard at it. That's Saturn. Are you working hard at it? Even if you think you're failing. I've told you guys, anybody that tells me they've made it, they're the master at something and they haven't failed, that's a lie. You need to fail several times because that makes you a better master, right? So I do feel like you're going to get this money, this thing, this trip, this accolade, this thing. And it helps, like I see this pentacle here, and I see that the bull is very small for some reason. Like when I was looking at another sign with this, I saw the bull very big. So the bull's very small. So I feel like part of where you've grown is to understand that yes, your way may be the right way in your head, but it works out better if you take others' opinions, not opinions. If they've done it before and they've done it and made it easier and you take that into consideration, then it works out better for you, if that makes any sense. Okay, congratulations. Right, Leo, you've got the hanging man. Okay, Leo, it looks like there is something that you need to make a move on, but you're deciding to like stall or wait, and that's okay. I kind of feel like you're sensing that everything's going to change anyway. And so, yeah, thanks, Kathy, for putting it up there. This is something that you're choosing to do. You're choosing not to make a move on it. You're choosing to kind of wait it out and see. And I feel like that's the best thing for you to do right now because you're still learning to trust yourself again. So, yeah. And then Virgo, you have the Three of Wands. So, Virgo, I feel like it's so funny. Like, Virgo, you're so, I know it's hard work and you're very critical about yourself, but it's almost like whatever you have to do or you feel like you have to do, you feel like it's so far, like it's too much work. And it's not. It's like you're used to doing hard work. This is going to be easy. You're just making it hard for yourself for some reason. It's like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to do this, but oh my God, I have to like, I don't know if I have the energy to do this. It's like that, but you do have the energy to do it, and it's not as far away as you think it is, whatever this is. Okay? You have the experiences. It's a three. It's not very far. It's just this one thing. And then when you do it, it's a lot. Right. And then when you do it, you're going to be like, oh my God, that wasn't even that hard. Like I'm telling you, you're the one holding yourself back. You are. You're holding yourself back by thinking this is too hard, and it's not. It's not. Good luck, Virgo. Okay, Libra. You have the Three of Cups. So, Libra, it looks like you get a little bit of celebration, a little respite today. Looks like whatever you've been thinking about this weekend, some of you may have met somebody, but it looks like, because I do feel like newer energy. Um, yeah, it's a three. I mean, enjoy it while it's there. Um, but for others, I don't feel like it's that. I feel like it's I feel like whatever this thing that you've been sort of focused on or trying to focus on or trying to get through, I feel like you get some sort of knowledge from the universe, evidence from the universe that you are going in the right direction. Does that make sense? Okay. And then Scorpio. Scorpio, ooh, you have the Magician, Scorpio. So I feel like y'all are the Magician. Um, I do feel like y'all are better. I feel like you're in a place where you can. I almost feel like it's a neutral place where you can like decide, do I want this or do I not want this? And I feel like today you do pull some magic to like get whatever this thing is. Um, for some of you, I feel like you finagle. You finagle. I can't curse, so I would say you pulled it out of your, you know what I mean? Like, you're like, whew, I did it. Yeah, you are magic. So something happens today where you transmute it and you are magic. And like to everybody, you're like the magician, but to you, you're like, oh, I pulled it out. I pulled it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. That's kind of what I feel. So congratulations, Scorpio. Okay, Saggy. Ooh, Saggy, you're gonna be okay. I know you haven't told anybody, but you're gonna be okay. Okay. You got the Knight of I was gonna say the Knight of Sagittarius, the Knight of Pentacles. So you do have a gift coming. You do have your money opening up again. It's like you had a tight hold. This had nothing to do with you making this happen like this. This had to do with your growth. I don't know how to explain this. Sagittarius, you're gonna. So what I'm hearing from my higher self is just tell them they're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. Your magic is coming back. Your thing is coming back. Okay, and you're gonna get an offer. You're gonna get an opportunity, and it is going to be solid. It's not gonna be this. Oh, I thought it was gonna do something, but it didn't go anywhere. Your magic's coming back. Okay, okay. You are going to get this offer, this opportunity, whatever this is. And I know y'all are not feeling it right now. I know you're not. Okay. So, Capricorn, you have the Ace of Cups. So, something that you have been thinking about. I don't feel like it's a big thing, but I feel like it's something that you've been thinking about that I almost feel like maybe it's a little gift for yourself, finally. Wow, that's a change. And it comes through. And somebody surprises you with it. And you really enjoy it. And it's the start to something that you really want to do. Yeah, I'll leave it there. Aquarius, you have the Chariot. So the Chariot, Aquarius, I know you have 20 years, and Pluto's going to help you understand. But for now, you need to it's not like if I say this, it's not like you don't know this. It's like you know this in your head, but you're not doing it in your heart. Okay? You know that you're in charge of your of the way that you want to. Aquarius, you're evolved enough to know that there are 3 or 4 or 5 million destinies. Okay, which one are you going to take? Like, you know this. Okay, I know other people probably won't understand that, but you understand that every one of those 500 destinies are valid. It's what you wanted to do. You know that you're not going to do all of them, but which one are you going to do? Right? I feel like you know this, but you're not doing it. Instead, you're like, oh, let the universe pick for me. Even though you know this, you're like, let the universe pick for me. Let me see if I'm getting the, and you do it this way. Let me see if I'm getting a sign to do it this, or if it does, if the sign is this, then I'm going to do that. Or if the sign is this, then I'm going to do that. Or if the sign is that, I'm going to do that. But what you're doing is you're letting the universe pick. You need to pick. So you need to take responsibility, Saturn, and decide. You don't have to like decide, because I know you're like, if I decide, I don't know why I'm going so deep into this, because I'm feeling it. If you decide, then you feel like you're going to miss out, or maybe it's the wrong decision, or what. You're not trusting yourself. You need to trust yourself. And you need to get out of your head, and you need to make the choices. That's what I'll say. It's the Chariot. You need to like lead. You need to, and I'm not even asking you to lead humanity right now. I'm just asking you to lead you. So just lead you. Just, and I can hear some of it. I am making the choice. It's not coming out right. No, you have to have faith in yourself That's Saturn and Pisces, having faith in yourself, your belief system, your understanding, you're understanding a new identity. You have 20 years of identity that you're going to try to understand. You have limiting beliefs that you're trying to expand to not be limited anymore. You got 20 years of this, okay? So this is the little part of taking charge and trusting yourself. And just because it didn't start to open up and unfold the way that you think that it should, if it's gonna go that way, a lot of people aren't gonna understand this, but Aquarians will. If it's not unfolding in the way that you think it's supposed to unfold, to tell you that that's the message from the universe that you're going in the right direction, then all of a sudden you switch. You need to stay the course. Have some faith in yourself. Does that make sense? I don't want to go too far deep into it, but for some reason I was getting deep into the Aquarius. Okay, so Pisces, you're the Hermit. Pisces, I think having all of these, if you're Pisces ascending, I think having all of these planets in your house has overwhelmed you. And especially having the sun there has really confused you, because what you thought you knew is not what you know. You know more. It's way different than you thought. And things aren't easy. You're not manifesting like you could. Things aren't coming about like they should for you, but that's not to say that they can't. It's Saturn and Venus, and then Mars is going to be in there, and the sun and Mercury's been in there. Like, you're really having to test yourself. You're really having to put some work in who you are and decide who you are and how you want to present to the world. Does that make sense? So you are taking a little break. I say go within. That's your answer, is to go within. But it looks like, yeah, you're not gonna get the answer outside. You're gonna get the answer inside, and that means doing some work inside. Not they did it to me, blah 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 blah. Right? They didn't do anything but what you wanted them to do. Trust me. Okay. You don't have to understand it that way. You don't have to take what I say, but I'm trying to make it easier for you. So if you will just for a second possibly open yourself up to thinking, maybe she could be onto something. Maybe she could be onto something. Just open that up just a little bit, to not be the victim, to like turn it around and say, and because I'm not saying you haven't had some bad things done to you, you have. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to stay in the victim mentality, then the universe is going to bring you victim mentality. If you're going to take responsibility, which what Saturn wants you to do, your answer is in there, and it's not easy. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. And then we got Aries. I'm laughing because this Seven of Swords reminds me of Aries being in the play in the sandbox. It's just taking they're taking all their toys and going home. They're tired of everybody. I don't know why I got that image, but I got that image with Aries. They are tired. They are done with everybody. They're done with the lies. They're done with the manipulation. They're done. They're wanting to do something else. They're wanting to be around other people. They're ready to go. And with the sun coming in, they've been tired lately, but with the sun coming in there, they're really ready to go. They're really going to get ready to go. And they're ready to go. They've done a lot of work, but they are so tired of the people around them. So I feel like today you will put your foot down with some things and say something to some people if you need to, okay? Because you have been working hard, and it doesn't take long for an Aries person to understand what they want to do. Just sometimes they ignore it, and I don't feel like you're ignoring it today. So congratulations, Aries. It's about time you got back into your feisty mood. Taurus. So you have the Five of Swords, Taurus. You're kind of like Aries, except for that yours is a little bit more serious. Yours, you have to, these are things that you should have been doing, and these are, I'm going to use the word passive aggressive. You have some people that are around you that are passive aggressive that will like pull the sword up and try to charge at you with the sword, but then they're like, no, I didn't. I was just picking it up to move it. Just kind of like that way. Take that with whatever is going on with your life. But there are people around you that are very passive aggressive, and you're kind of tired of it too. And I feel like today you may have to like, I don't know that you will, because you're kind of, when I look at this, you're kind of looking at it. You're looking at them and you kind of know what they're doing, but you're not, I don't feel like, I feel like you see one sword's down, one sword's up that you're holding. So it's like you're ready to do it, but then you may not do it. But you're ready to do it, but then you may not do it. Yeah, thank you. Hi, Lorna. Thank you. So good luck, Taurus. Remember, there's some things that are needing to happen, but right now you have Uranus and Jupiter in your house, so you've got a lot of wisdom. You've got some things that you're going to be doing very differently. So my advice to you is do it differently, and that's the way. Okay. All right, Gemini, my last one, Jimmy's. This is interesting, Jimmy, because they were all right up, and then I get the Page of Pentacles upside down. So this tells me, I feel like some of you, not all of you, but some of you, you know how if you don't get your way, you get in a bad, like you get in this bratty mood, in a bad mood. I feel like you didn't get your way and you're mad at the universe and you're being a brat about it. I'm not saying that's wrong. You have the right to do that because, Jimmy, you hardly ever complain. I'm just saying, but what that's doing is it's causing you, your position, if you're going to get this position, this job, this money, this whatever this is, it's causing it to be delayed. So we need to change the energy. Okay. And again, you have every right to be a brat because you don't complain much. But it's almost like you have tried everything and nothing's working. But in that, it's making it delay. And I don't know if it's delaying because you are going to have everything change once we get through this north node, south node. Once we get through these eclipses, things are going to change on the other side. You do have, I do want to say that you do have, like, if you look here, Pluto is going to be aspecting the north node and then Gemini as well in the coming, like on April 8th. So I'll talk to you guys about that later, but just know that there are some things coming for you and Sagittarius that I think it's the changes. I think it's the, you've tried really hard, things have not been right. And I'm not saying that no other signs had that because everybody's had that. It's the time period that we're going through. And again, we have this wound that we need to work with. We're not going to heal it completely. It's always going to be there in the back, but we can work with it. Does that make sense? So my best advice to you, Jimmy, and I hate to say this because you guys don't ever complain. You have the right to complain right now. You are going to get this thing. It's just delayed. And I don't know, it's different for everybody. If it's the timeline, if it's because you can transform it and transmute it, if it's, that the position hasn't opened up yet, if it's that you're supposed to get this, but the other person hasn't left yet. It's like timing for some reason. It's timing. Okay. Does that make sense? All right. I think that's all 12. And it's interesting because you're the only one that got the upside down card. That's really interesting. So I want to thank you guys for joining me for like listening to me ramble on. And sometimes I'll start channeling and I go way far and stuff you might not understand and you have to just say, "Hey, can you come back down to earth?" I hope you guys are enjoying that vagus nerve resetting. Let me know if you do like that, and then we can do the lymph node drainage stuff. I have other things for like migraines and stuff like that. Let me know if you like that part. If you like me introducing that. And I think I can feel mediumship coming. So I'm just going to leave that open because I don't know if that's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, or the next day. But I just kind of feel like that's coming. It's been time. I've just been trying to figure out how to do it and bring it back to YouTube. So yeah. But now that I'm doing lives, it may be a little bit easier. So yeah. Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody for joining me. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing. Love all that you do, Cindy. Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate each one of you, even though, like Lorna, all of y'all could be working, and I know that y'all are working and trying to watch me, and I appreciate it. For me, this is like the best time to do it. So, yeah, I'm gonna start working on the Pluto, finishing up the Pluto series. So, I love you, love you, lovely. Thank you again for joining me. I'll see you guys later. Bye.